Yeah, traffic has just opened up for me. Still a lot of cars on the road. It's 5:50 in Miami, so it's that rush hour. It's a little bit past the rush hour traffic, but it's a lot better than it was when I left my house. One thing that I noticed with myself is that I make a lot of what I notice, not so much with myself, but when I get receptions from other people and perspectives, I make what I do seem a lot easier than what it is. If I'm doing it's fun and you have to put in the work in countless hours. I barely sleep. I take a lot of naps throughout the day, but I barely get consistent sleep unless it's like on a Sunday. Sometimes I'll get that, or the weekends. But what I'm doing is not easy, and it's not meant to be easy, but it appears easy because of the pace that I'm going at, which is cool. It's cool to see people take it lightly or think that this is something that anybody can do. Which in theory, anybody can do it. Anybody can attempt to do it, but the consistency of doing it, not everybody's cut for this. A lot of people talk that talk, but a majority of them, they talk it for a little bit, they walk it for a little bit, but then they fade away and they get distracted by other things, which is all fine and dandy because that's their life, but there's levels to it. That's why the more I listen to songs, the higher up I get in my mental capacity for my own personal life, the more I can understand and relate with people who are more successful than me or just as successful. Because even with Meek Mills, there's levels to this. Like, it's an arrogant song, but it's an honest song. People want to put themselves on your level, or they want to associate themselves with you as if they're on the same playing field, but they didn't put nowhere near the same amount of work, and they don't put in nowhere near the same amount of work. That's why lately I've been distancing myself from a lot of people who are like that, where they have potential, but they're not there yet. So I have to get back to my work. I can't stay around for too long because it's taken away from my mission and my goal. I spend way too many times just sitting around talking about goals and plans when I know better out of all people. I know myself that you can only talk about certain things for so long before you just have to put in the work and have the patience and just wait for it to happen. Last night was a rough night for me because me and my mom, our relationship has been getting better, but yesterday was one of those days where I realized she really needs help, not only financially, but just emotionally. There's a lot going on in our lives, and especially her life. My grandma, my lone grandparent that's alive, which is my mom's mom, she has dementia and it's getting worse. And I've dealt with this before. Well, my family, we've dealt with this before with my dad's side because my other grandma, Nanny, she passed away with dementia. So we know that dementia is one of those diseases where it doesn't really get better. In the beginning stages, you can stall it with medicine and different ways. But at the end of the day, it's going to get worse, and it's going to take a toll on the family or everybody that's involved with that person's life. And one thing that I did with, and I think my dad as well, with my other grandma, I was in college at the time. One thing that I did with that situation was I distanced myself because I just didn't want my last memories of my grandma to be her not knowing who I was, not being able to eat food, not being able to really live without anybody's assistance. And I see myself doing the same thing with my grandma now. Where I call her Grandma Annette Wembley. She's getting worse, and it's taking a toll on my mom. And my mom has changed, and it's not her fault. It's one of those tough things. And right now in my life, I'm trying to juggle running a business, juggle dealing with multiple people's egos and their life, and trying to get everybody on the same page, trying to inspire my younger cousins, trying to inspire my family, trying to uplift everybody, trying to make sure I stay motivated, because there's times where even no matter how motivated you are, no matter how successful you are, you're gonna have those moments where you feel like you're out of control, but you just don't know where to go from where you're at. You get stuck. And last night was one of those nights as I was completing my mom's taxes. We just had a moment where we were both very depressed. It just hit us. The overall energy of the house was just very down. It was dark, no lights in the house, very depressed. Money was low. We were almost at that breaking point where we're at a crucial point in our lives. My whole family, me, my mom, my dad, even though we're having separate perspectives and separate lives all in the same family, it's that breaking point of, and my dad may potentially need knee surgery. He's working crazy hours, where it's either you slip up and you give up and then everything completely collapses, or you keep pushing, but it doesn't make the circumstances any easier. It's just you have to keep pushing to stop yourself from completely collapsing. It's kind of hard to explain because there's a lot of specifics that I won't discuss. That's family business, but it's also, I know a lot of people are going through it, so I try to speak on things that are relatable, that I know others are going through and may not feel like somebody else is there that has the same experience. But this is definitely, it was a tough time last night. I had a lot to sleep on. In fact, I actually didn't sleep that much last night. I had a lot to think on, actually. And with that, I did a lot of praying and asking God, like, what am I supposed to do in my life at this time? What route am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to be around? Who am I supposed to ask for help? Am I even supposed to ask for help? I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And money's just not going to pop up. I woke up in a better mood, and I woke up with a lot more answers that I didn't have last night. And it wasn't answers where somebody just flat out told me verbatim what the answers were. It's just one of those, I just understood a lot more what was happening and what my role and what my purpose is a little bit more, where I have to do more for my family. I have to be more of a leader. I have to spend more time with my actual family and less time with advisors, less time with friends. I'm in a time right now where I have to, I'm going to spend time with my advisors. I'm going to make sure the business side, the foundation is right. Make sure if there's an event, I make sure I oversee it to make sure it goes according to plan, but I have to be more involved in my family's life. I can't get too big or too full of my own stuff that I fall back and allow my family to suffer. Not saying that I'm that golden child that if I do something, the suffering's going to end. The suffering is definitely not going to end with just me being involved, but the suffering will be more manageable, where we're all in this together, that mentality.